Couple of months ago, Soundpeats released the Watch 1 and it was a pretty basic option when it comes to smartwatches. And for many people starting off with their first smartwatch, they are pretty good.
Looking for things that I can't control. Fear from my past cause it always shows. Do I wanna try? Can I let it go? Running from the past, wanting to be sure. Chaos in my mind, constant deja vu. But every time, it comes back to you. Oh, I'm still falling.
Today we're taking a look at Soundpeats' latest offering and to see if the Watch Pro 1 is worth the premium over the original watch, or should you save your money and stick with the original. Let's find out. Welcome to a review of the Soundpeats Watch Pro 1. Hello, my name is Sean and welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, I do a lot of tech reviews as well as unboxing, and if that is something that interests you, do consider subscribing to this channel, leave a thumbs up on this video as well as share this video to all your friends around. With that said, let's get on with a review of the Soundpeats Watch Pro 1. So today's review unit was graciously sent over to me by Soundpeats for review, and I've also personally bought the Watch 1 right over here so we can make a comparison between these two watches and to see which one you should buy. The original watch retails for about 28 US, which is around 120 Malaysia ringgit, and the new Watch Pro 1 retails for 46 US, which is around 160 Malaysia ringgit. So let's see if the new watch is worth the premium, and if you're interested in getting any of these smartwatches, do check out my links below. So the design of the Watch Pro 1 and a Watch 1 is very different in design, and notably the shape of both of these watches is the most striking difference. The Watch 1 has a more traditional square smartwatch design, and the Watch Pro 1 is a rounded shape, and especially nice when it's in a smartwatch. So holding both of these watches in your hands, you can very slightly tell the weight difference, and where the original Watch 1 actually is a tad bit heavier than the new Watch Pro 1, coming in at 54 grams for the original and 36 grams for the new Watch Pro 1. But funnily, because of the way the watch is designed, or maybe the glass material, the new Watch Pro 1 somehow feels a lot more premium than the original, which frankly felt a little bit plasticky. The Watch Pro 1 has a very nice metal body finished in a nice space grey color, and if you look at the glass itself, it's a curved glass and it protrudes the frame of the watch quite a bit, and it looks and feels super good. But that also means that it's more prone to scratches and cracks if you smack your watch on the wall. The original watch comes in also space grey, and this time it's in plastic, and the glass also protrudes from the frame but not as obvious as the Pro. And flipping both watches, you can see that the Pro has a lot more high-end finish compared to the original, and now has a more shiny chrome plastic bits rather than the more plastic looking one on the original. Both have the same type of heart rate sensor, but perhaps running different technology, and both of these watches uses a magnetic pin charger to top up the battery. Fortunately, they are both the same chargers and you can use the same charger for both of this watch. So both of these watches uses a quick release pin, where the original is a 20mm watch band and the Pro uses a 22mm watch band, so you can swap it with your favorite straps. Overall, both watch bands are pretty soft, but the new one feels a lot nicer to the skin and not as grippy. And the new hardware buckle on the Pro also feels fancier and looks nicer with the Soundpeats logo embossed there, and the original one looks quite generic, only with the Soundpeats branding at the strap. So that's basically the main difference between the design of the two watches. So since these watches are pretty basic in its feature, and the only feature that uses the most battery here is the 24-hour heart rate sensor, you should get about 10 days of continuous use with moderate notifications. And the original Watch 1 takes about 2 hours to fully charge, but the new Pro takes about 3.5 hours to fully charge. So these watches are very basic and they are your very starter type of smartwatches, but Soundpeats did throw in a Bluetooth 5.0 chipset on both of these watches for good measures. Both of these watches also supports a very high IP68 dust and water resistance, so you will be getting maximum water protection, and you can also bring these watches swimming. The funny thing is that they market this watch with someone swimming with it, but if you look into the fitness section, swimming is not one of the sports listed. So the new Watch Pro 1 comes with a 1.28-inch circular display, LCD here, no AMOLED, and has a resolution of 240 by 240, which in real life looks pretty pixelated and frankly not the highest resolution smartwatch you'll see. The original Watch 1 comes with a 1.4-inch square LCD display with 320 by 320 resolution, and you can tell immediately that it's way sharper compared to the new Pro. Pretty odd setup here because when I see Pro, I think it should be better, or maybe comes with an AMOLED display, considering the Mi Band 6, which is just slightly more expensive than the Pro, comes with an AMOLED display. Another thing I want to highlight for both of these watches is the display brightness, and you can see that the Watch 1 is already maxed out and it's very bright, very easy to read, but the Watch Pro 1 looks very dim under bright sunlight, and this is already at the maximum settings and it's already so dim, so it's not the best brightness watch here, and you can see that the brightness is already set to the max, so not looking good for the Pro here. So lastly, there's no other modern features such as GPS, no SpO2 tracking, no stress monitoring, no female health tracking. The Pro even loses out on breathing exercises, where the original watch actually has that feature and the Pro doesn't have. So for both watches, you'll be getting pretty standard exercise spot tracking. So if you look through the Watch Pro 1, you're getting running, walking, cycling, alpinism, which is mountain climbing I believe, yoga, skipping, tennis, baseball, basketball, badminton, football, rugby, and table tennis. So no swimming found on this one. And for the original Watch 1, you'll be getting jogging, fast walking, biking, climbing, spinning, yoga, indoor running, integrated training, gymnastics, basketball, football, and rowing. So same thing, no swimming on the Watch 1. So let's talk a little bit about the interfaces of both of these watches, and the Watch 1 has a very simple interface. So at the watch face screen, you can long press on the screen and you can choose between 5 different presets watch faces, and these watch faces are not customizable, so you can just choose one of them and that's all you're gonna get. So swiping from the right, you get to track your activity. So this is your activity tracker, this is your heart rate monitoring, the next screen is your sleep monitoring, you get some weather information, and lastly you get breathing exercise, and this is the same if you swipe from the left. Swiping from the top, you get information about your date and time, and you can also use your watch to find your phone, which is the first button here, so that will make your phone vibrate and ring. Next to that, you can also toggle the brightness of the screen, so this is already set to the max. Below here, you can toggle sleep mode, so it doesn't have any notifications. And if you go into settings, you'll be able to see a few pretty redundant options here that you can already do elsewhere on the watch. But what you get here is to adjust your watch face, your brightness, about your watch, power off, as well as reset. And if you swipe from the bottom, you'll be able to get the same option, maybe just in a list view. So here you get to see your stats, your BPM, and if you swipe all the way down, you get notifications, music setting, which is like a remote control, more, and in this case you get stopwatch countdown, find your phone, brief training, again redundant menus, and settings, which is the same option as you get before. So that's basically the watch interface of the original Watch 1. So on the Pro, you get 6 preset watch faces. So if you press and hold into the first page here, you get 6 presets. So this is the first one, second one, third one, fourth one, fifth one, and sixth one. And you also get one more, which is this one. This is the one that you can sync from your phone, so you can actually download different watch dials, and you can sync one watch dials into your phone. So you cannot store like many of them, you can only store one. And if you swipe from the right, you get activity circle. So this is very similar to what you get with the Apple Watch. So it will slowly fill up the entire circle, very similar. And next to that, you get your heart rate information. Sorry that the screen is so hard to see because this watch is seriously very dim. And this is your heart rate information. You also get sleep tracking, training, which is what we saw earlier with the different sport modes, and lastly you get music controls, which is your remote. This watch doesn't have any memory to store any music on board, so this is just a remote. Swiping from the left, you get the same set of features in a list form now, but you'll be getting at the bottom here a stopwatch, a message, which is your message notification, and also settings. So if you click into settings, this time there's no redundant menus here. So if you swipe from the bottom, you'll be able to access all your message notification if you have any. And swiping from the top, you get the same feature to find your phone, brightness settings, sleep mode, and also settings. So this time there's no repeat information in the settings menu. So this is what you get to do here. And also I need to talk about this brightness, because this brightness is seriously super low, and you can see that it's already maxed out. And if I click on it, this is the lowest setting. This is the second one, the third one, and the fourth one. So I think one thing that Soundpeats could do is to seriously make the next watch brighter. Under direct sunlight, this is almost non-readable. So here I'm just going to cover the app of the Pro, since they are both very similar with one difference. And also another note here is that if you have two watches in your possession and there is no way for you to connect to more than one watch in the Soundpeats Sport app, so you can only pair up one watch at a time, so you got to choose whether you want to keep the watch or the Watch Pro. So at the home page here, what you get to see is the pedometer information, how much steps that you have took, and what's your goal and stuff like that. And if you scroll down, you will see heart rate information. If you click into it, it will show you more information. Next to that, you see the sleep information, so this will track all your sleeping information. If you go into sport, this is where you get to start tracking your runs, your cycles, and only with the app you can track your GPS location. And if you click on start, you can also click into a map. You can also click into the map to show you where you are, so that will track your GPS location. So once you go into device, this is where you get to set up your watch a little bit. And one big difference here is that you will see the dashboard, and actually dashboard just means dial center. So if you go inside here, you get to choose between all the different dials that you can sync to your watch. And do take note that this only syncs one dial at a time to store inside your watch. And once you find one that you like and sync to your watch, you will find it inside My Dials. And lastly, you can also go to custom dials, and this is where you get to choose your background setting, change the color of the font. So very basic information overall. And if you get back out, you can also check your heart rate settings. So this is whether or not to check 24 hours heart rate. If you click into phone, this is where you toggle whether your watch will vibrate when you get a phone call. App settings, this is where you get notifications for your app. You also get sedentary reminders, so if you click on this, it will remind you to not sit for so long. Alarm, so light up is a feature for you to lift your wrist and the device will turn on. So do not disturb is where you get to set a specific time to not get notifications. If you go into more settings, this is just some additional settings like 24-hour time. And lastly, you can also upgrade the firmware of your watch. So that's basically all of the features you get with the Soundpeats Sport app. So personally, for a smartwatch that is less than US 50, we're not really expecting it to do a lot, but do take note that the Mi Band 6 that we've checked out recently is US 60 and has a beautiful AMOLED display, great modern features, and great tracking overall. So if you fancy the look of these watches, definitely check them out, but personally, the Pro has quite a low resolution screen and that brightness isn't really doing it for me. So I personally think that the original watch actually has a better offering overall. But let me know in the comment section below which of this watch you will get. So that is it for this review. If you find this video helpful, smash that thumbs up button, share this video everywhere, and if you haven't yet subscribed, do consider subscribing, and I'll see you in the next video.